current middleweight champion, going up against Mica Galvão, the challenger, and the current welterweight champion. But we're going through the main card on this press conference. So to kick it off, I want to ask Jonnatas, the champion. Jonnatas, how does it feel to show up to this Who's Number One as the champ?
Feel good. I'm back to the champ. Why? Yeah, like I don't have nothing to say. Just be happy here. So happy.
For sure. So we've seen you twice now on Who's Number One, right? Against Oliver Taza, and your other match was against Jacob Couch for the title, and now you have Mica Galvão. I'm curious, what's different this time for you going up against Mica?
A lot. It's growing, like adapt day. But yeah, like I said the last interview, I say the same thing. Like I'm the champion, he's the champion. Why the event is need to like fight. I'm here, he's here. Let's fight. Like yeah, let's gonna give the best show for everybody.
For sure. Yeah. So Mica, I want to ask you. You know, we've seen you in the welterweight division more so recently. You got the belt at Who's Number One Night of Champions. And we've seen you defend it twice. What made you want to jump up to the middleweight division and compete now for the middleweight belt?
So for me, it's not a matter of like, oh, all right, I got my belt, I just want to keep defending it, and keep it in there, in the wall. It's something a little brighter and bigger than that. I want to keep trying to challenge myself. Jonnatas is the champion of the 185. He's like the weight class that is above me, so of course it would be my first initial objective and thought of going against. And then, of course, if I'm talking about growing bigger and looking for even more and more and more, trying to get more records, I know there's someone already with 2 belts and Who's Number One. So my objective is basically the same. I want to have as many as possible. So maybe the 185 is not going to be the last one that I'm going to be looking for. If everything goes according, everything goes well, maybe I'm going to look for a 205 and see until where I can go.
Gotcha. So we've seen Jonnatas twice on Who's Number One. Both times he had very dominant decision wins, you know, and we saw his ability to kind of like control his opponents positionally very well, you know, put on a dominant game. I'm curious, what do you think about Jonnatas' jiu-jitsu?
I feel like Jonnatas' jiu-jitsu is such like a very step-by-step jiu-jitsu. I've been watching him since I was like a little kid, and we were even talking about it on a backstage that he watched me growing up from like a orange belt until later the black belt. And in all his matches, I see this very well-controlled pace where he tires out his opponents. He's able to use his physical and technique-wise to get to his points where he tries to maintain control there and then eventually get the win. And my style is a little bit more on the opposite side, where I'm like, as I said in the interview, I'm kind of like a little chaos bubble, where I'm trying to, you know, clear the path and trying to go for submission, trying to always innovate, always expressing myself through my jiu-jitsu, which is, I believe, what I've been doing my whole life. It's just like there's a canvas out there, I'm painting my art, and that's what I believe my jiu-jitsu is.
Nice. Jonnatas, I want to ask you kind of the same question. You know, we've seen Mica a lot on Who's Number One. He does have a different style, like he said. You know, he kind of gets into some crazy scrambles and opens up a lot, a little different from your style. What do you think of Mica's jiu-jitsu?
Incredible. So nice. Why, like, he sure for everybody why his jiu-jitsu. Of course, everybody know, like, I say, impossible to win, right? But he's proved he's the best. Why for his division, so now he's gonna test in my division. Let's gonna see.
I also want to ask you, you know, how has things changed for you and everything now that you're training more at AOJ? Has that changed your game a lot, or is it more the same? You know, what's different at AOJ?
So of course, it's different. Why Professor Guilherme is an amazing professor, but it's like I say, like it's time. Why I invest the time to improve. Let's gonna see like. In this time, I have now already like 6 months training over there. I'm gonna see how much I improve.
So obviously this is a bit of a special match whenever we have 2 champions going up against each other. And so I just want to ask, what does it mean to be a Who's Number One champion? What does that mean to you? Speechless, right? You know, it's such an incredible thing. You don't even have words. What would it mean to you to leave tomorrow with the belt and be a middleweight champion still, but also have a defense on your title?
I don't know.
Tough questions here, right?
Yes, tough questions. I don't like to say nothing about this.
Yeah, that's fair. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Mika, I got same question for you. What would it mean for you as the challenger to come in and get the win and leave with the middleweight championship belt?
You wouldn't mean like as far as like the title. Of course, it's amazing. Who's number one? It's I believe one of the greatest events in the world as far as like grappling. But the title itself would make me very happy. But seeing myself trying out my jiu-jitsu against the top-notch and toughest opponents on earth, that's my objective. And if I came out of that night with the belt or not, but just like really giving out my best, really improving my game and feeling like I evolved, that's my motto. I'm like, okay, the public enjoyed, I enjoyed, I was able to evolve, I got stuff out of this. I'm happy, and that's what I want for life. I just want to keep getting better and better and better, and giving even more of like a show to everyone who's watching.
What can the fans expect from you tomorrow whenever you take the mats against Jonnatas?
It's Ramos. Just like me trying to always evolve myself and, you know, giving my best out there. Like always, we're friends. Well, we talk a lot, but when we're in the mat there, we're just both like enjoying what we chose for our life, which is jiu-jitsu. We're in a war, but at the same time at peace.
Gotcha. Jonnatas, last question for you. What can the fans expect from you whenever you take the mats against Mika?
So I'm gonna give my 100%. I have a lot of things to do in my life, and this is my opportunity to take.
Awesome. Well, there you guys have it. Make sure you tune in. This will be the main event of the evening, the last match on the card, where we're going to see middleweight champion Jonnatas Gracie going up against welterweight champion Mica Galvão. Up next for the press conference, we're going to talk to Xande Ribeiro and Kit Dale. All right, now we have our co-main event of the evening where we're going to see Xande Ribeiro taking on Kit Dale. A bit of another Legends match here on Who's Number One. I'll kick it off with you, Shanji. Last time we saw you was against Boogie Martinez. You came out, got the submission. The crowd went absolutely nuts. You know, how does it feel to be back on a Who's Number One?
It's a pleasure to be called up upon here again, you know, facing a legendary, you know, Australian, like first generation of Australians to come out. So for me, it's great. A very different style, you know, from Boogie to Kit, and I'm just excited to come to California and show my jiu-jitsu.
Was there any hesitancy or anything when Ricardo called you? Were you like, I don't know, maybe I want to? Or were you right back into it? I'll do the next WNO.
Definitely, I always said I'm ready. Definitely, I was already training, you know, with the gi and everything. And yeah, I'm always training with Victor, Fellipe, those guys, Lovato. So they're always in shape. They keep me in shape. I made a point of being in shape the whole year. So just give me a call, just give me enough notice, you know, and I'll be here. And like I said, when he said Kit Dale, I thought it was an amazing matchup for my style, also hairstyle. So, you know, he just came out of a great victory, you know, come out of retirement as well, if you call this a retirement. But yeah, I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, I think this should be a potentially reverse hair match. You know, normally guys have to shave their head. I think the loser should have to grow their hair as long, like maybe a year of growth. I don't know, just throwing that out there for you guys. But Kit, I want to ask you also, we saw you recently at the Giles trial for CJI, but before that, you know, we haven't seen you on the scene in a little bit. What made you want to kind of get back into competition and come out here and compete, not just at the Giles trial, but also now on Who's Number One?
I've been wanting to get back into jiu-jitsu for a long time. I've been training all the way through. It was just I was so far into the filmmaking world that I really wanted to make sure that I got a movie out before I can allow myself to train and compete again. And I was in Australia, and it was just the right time. He had the event on. Originally, I wasn't going to be there at that point, and then I said, "Listen, if someone drops out, I'll do it." And someone did drop out, and it was great. It was just really good to be back in Australia. To be honest, like there was a lot of really good training there, and I got a lot of motivation from all the young guys coming through. Because you know, when I was training originally in Australia, it was very new, but now there's so many unbelievably talented people like Declan on this card as well that are phenomenal. So it really motivated me to get back into it, and I had a lot of fun competing in that tournament.
Whenever you got the call and they said it would be against Shanji, what did you think about that right away?
I was looking for any kind of excuse not to because I was scared, to be honest. And then I thought, honestly, it's like Shanji. Shanji's a legend in the sport, and he's been one of my idols since I first started. I remember seeing him in magazines, and so it would be an honor for me to share the mats with him. And I also think it's a great stylistic matchup where he's got a phenomenal guard, and I really like to work on my guard passing. So I think it'll be a lot of fun as a matchup.
So I saw a video of you where you talked about some unconventional methods you've been using ahead of this match. You know, a little voodoo and whatnot. Is it you've been doing some crazy stuff to try and get ahead in this one?
Yeah, that was a bit of a failure. I got, like I said, there was a 2-for-1 deal on the voodoo dolls, and they look very similar. So I was kind of pinching one of their backs, and I ended up putting my own back out. So that was bad. So we threw that away. But I have been seeing, like I said, the tarot lady, and she's been predicting a lot of good things. I don't know who for. I think she might have said Shanji. So that's was meant to give me the edge, but I think I wasted my time there. I should have just been training, I think.
Yeah, I guess we'll see tomorrow where that ends up helping the most. But Shanji, what was your training like for this one? Anything special going on for you, or just business as usual?
Just look in the mirror, and then that's about it. Which is interesting because Kit has a very similar game to me on top. Like he said, I think I'm definitely gonna do parts of my game that I would like to have done against Boogie. So basically when you train with Victor, Fellipe, those guys, I'm basically on the bottom of the time anyway. But yeah, man, it's been a great camp. I think, like I said, Kit is a great opponent. I can see myself just developing my skills. There's no worry about points anyway. So we'll see what's gonna happen. His body style, he's a little shorter than me, so it can be very difficult to get access to his limbs or something like this. But yeah, I'm prepared. It's been really good. I did shield myself against the Voodoos. It kind of worked a little bit at the pyramid, but it actually made me better. I'm way lighter than I was. Training camp was great. We'll see. We'll see what's gonna happen. Maybe he'll just garpool on the street. I don't know. Would you garpool?
Would you garpool?
100%.
Oh, it's a street fight.
I'm thinking about doing it.
That your self-defense.
We're starting right now. Okay, come at me.
What would it mean to you to come out and get your second win on the Who's Number One stage, Shanji?
That's what I do. I don't think change so much. We're having a big discussion about rules. I don't think rules determine my game. What determines my game is my willing to just go there and break a neck and twist an arm. And there's no difference. I think Who's Number One for me stylistically is really good because it's a longer match. I can wear my opponents down. Just enjoy, And like I said, I've been doing this for way too long, and I think I have 15 minutes to find a gap. And once I find the gap, I think the biggest thing about my game is that I don't lose many opportunities, and that's one of the things that I really wanna focus on. I had in my last match 1 guard pass, 1 submission attempt, and that's what I'm gonna try. I know I've watched Kid so many times, and he's very difficult to get a hold of him. Like I said, his defense game is really good. He has a very stoic game, and we'll see what's gonna happen. 15 minutes, it's gonna be a show, common event. It's never, it's cool to be in a common event in a card with Mika, 2 boys from the Amazon. I think this really motivates me a lot, and I think the crowd in Costa Mesa gonna be for a treat.
Nice. Same question for you, Kit. What would it mean to you to come out and get a win in your Who's Number One debut?
I mean, look, I'm 39 years old now, nearly 40. For me, it's not about wins and losses. It's about life and death. And if I lose this match, I'm going to put myself in a vat of acid. And I don't know if you can live with that, knowing that you allowed me to die like that when you could have easily let me win and survive. So that's on you. I don't know if you've got the conscience for that. No. I don't really care about the wins and losses. I just want to put on a really good match and have a really good turnout. And if that means that I end up winning, I'd be very happy, as it's against Shanji, one of the legends. But more importantly, I just want to make sure that I show what I can do as much as I can.
Awesome. Well, there you guys have it. The stakes are very high for this one. I did not realize they were so high before this, but looking forward to seeing how this one goes down tomorrow. Up next, we're going to talk to Lucas Hulk Barbosa and Dory Aoun. All right, now we're here with Lucas Hulk Barbosa and Dory Aoun. So this one was a last-minute replacement match. As I said previously in some videos, we were originally going to have Luke Griffith going up against Fellipe Pena. Fellipe had to pull out. That match is postponed to a later Who's Number One card. So we had to call 2 guys that we can trust, 2 guys that we know are always down to throw down on the Who's Number One mask. So we ended up with Hulk Barbosa and Dory Aoun. I'll start with you, Hulk. Whenever you got the kind of the last-minute call, were you immediately in? Was there any hesitancy? What was your thoughts right away?
Yeah, I've been almost 10 months without competing, so I've been craving to fight. And then when this opportunity came, I was like, yeah, why not? I'm already training, I'm already feeling good. So, and then they offered the fight with some opponents, but they offered with Dory. It was like, yeah, let's go. I think it's also a good match. He was forward and me too, so perfect. Let's go.
Yeah, whenever you heard it would be against Dory, was there anything about Dory specifically that excited you? Anything that you thought, like how the match would play out or anything that made you really want to do it?
I think it will be a good match because he's been one of the active competitors and has been showing his work out there. So it would be really good to fight with a guy with a high level because I want to test myself as well. We fought probably 3 years ago or something like this, and today he's like a different opponent. So I'm also like a different athlete. So I'm looking forward to to test it out our skills on this new chapter. So.
Awesome. And so, Dory, kind of similar question to you. I actually was talking to you at the World Championship, right? That was just last week. And we were talking about this who's number one. And you said, man, if something opens up, if you need somebody, I'm always ready. And then here you are, like, about to compete on the card, So I guess, what was it like when you got that call? I knew you'd be down, but, did you have any hesitancy or was it right away you were in?
I mean, I have shirts that literally say stay down. So we're always down, always ready for any challenge. Ricardo's probably tired of me messaging him, hey, bro, I know you're in Costa Mesa. I'm down the street. If someone pulls out, I'm ready. Shoot me a DM. I'm ready. So I'm pumped. I've been training hard. I mean, there's never like a camp for an event, right? We always stay ready, and we're on the mats 10 hours a day every day. So we stay ready and stay down, always up for a challenge, and ready to show more of my game out here.
Yeah, there's not really an off season in jiu-jitsu, right? It's kind of, you always got to be ready. But also, that's a good note. If the number one way to get on Who's Number One card, just blow up Ricardo Amendolia on Instagram, just nonstop messaging him, and maybe he'll get you on the undercard or something. But whenever he said it would be against Hulk, what did you think about that matchup?
I mean, Ricardo could tell you, I just said anybody, anywhere, any weight, 185, 205, whatever it's going to be, let's run it. I feel like I'm one of the best in the world, so anyone can get it at any time. So I'm in. Let's go.
How do you think this match is going to play out tomorrow against Lucas?
So Lucas, we fought 3 years ago, and I was new to the jiu-jitsu scene and everything at that time, and I feel like I'm a totally different competitor now, and I'm ready to make some adjustments and come at him. So let's do it.
Same question for you, Lucas. How do you kind of think this match is going to play out against Dory?
Not really sure, man. I just know that we're going to go after each other. And I know he's an exciting opponent. Just like he said, he's ready. He's been competing a lot. He's active. And I'm looking for someone like this too, to go out there and put on a show. So whatever it goes, we're going to go for a scrap, and it's going to be a good one.
Definitely. I think everyone at home can expect, fireworks in this matchup. But up next, we're going to talk to Paige, Ivette Clymer, and Kauane Ramos. All right, up now we have Paige, Ivette Clymer, and Kauane Ramos. I'm excited for this match. I think both of you come out with a very forward style. You're down to scrap, you're down to throw down. So I'm stoked you're both here. I'll start with you, Paige. This is your second time on Who's Number One, right? Or am I missing some?
No,
okay, second time.
Yeah.
All right, I messed that up before.
Big
Someone
energy,
got mad at me.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. What does it mean to you to kind of get the call to come back and do another match here on Who's Number One?
Literally a dream. Like, this fight promotion is so well put together, and then you guys have the most fire matches, and there's something about the 15-minute match, like, you have to pace yourself, but that's what's kind of like, that adds to the anxiety, because there's no other or fight promotion like that. So I don't know, it just makes me feel alive. Like, you got to be down to scrap, you got to be ready. And I came from a water polo background, so we were constantly swimming and fighting people in the water. So I think I think this rule set's perfect for me.
Nice. Yeah, so your last match was against Rafael Aguedes. It was a non-stop action match. I think it won fight of the night, Mm-hmm. Is that your plan in here, to always kind of come with an energy that ends up potentially being a fight of the night?
Yeah, like every match that I've ever had, the exchanges are on both ends. So they will get to have a submission attack on me, I'll have a submission attack on them, and I don't know. I think that's jiu-jitsu. You have to show your skill of knowing how to escape things, but also how to be rigid and hold on to the submission. So it's kind of my plan, is to be a little more rigid, but we'll see. You never know.
Gotcha. All right, and then Kauane, I want to ask you, what did it mean to you whenever you got the call to compete here on Who's Number One?
I got crazy. I'm so excited to be here, man, because these rules are made for our champions, because you cannot hold it. And it what makes me more excited, you know, is like the style that I like. And I think that for both of us, it's going to be like, shh, shh.
For sure. What did you think whenever they offered you the match against Paige?
I was so excited, mainly because I saw her fight against Rafaela, and that was a tough match, and it matches with my kind of game. So yeah, I feel good. I feel super excited. I think we are gonna give we are gonna put a show.
Yeah, I believe this is going to be a show for sure. You have something you want to say, Paige?
Yeah, fight of the night, round 2.
There we go.
Yeah,
2-time fight of the night.
Yeah, right here.
For sure. So I guess, Paige, I'll ask you, you know, what can the fans expect from you whenever you take the mats? You know, what are you always trying to do to impress the fans, or what can they expect?
You know, I've been watching a lot of fight promotions, and I see like the best in the world. They are so scared. Like they're not excited. They're not showing themselves, like showing their personality, and I think that that's what we need to do more with jiu-jitsu, because in jiu-jitsu it's a community, right? So you have to be able to be respectful and fun. I mean, we can't all talk shit to each other, because then everyone's just going to be angry. And I mean, I know that sells, but that's not why we do jiu-jitsu. We do it for the community, for the friendships. So when I step out on the mat, I want people to see that, like, oh, this girl's fun. She's having a great time. I can do that. I want little girls to look at me and be like, wow, more girls should do this. You know, I think it should be like universal. I think every girl should train jiu-jitsu as opposed to doing like PE. So I just want it to be appealing for them.
That would be a good world. Every
right?
girl, every guy too. Everyone training jiu-jitsu.
Step up. You don't want to get choked, you know? It's like being in Texas. Everybody's got a gun, so you don't want to mess around.
True. But luckily we're in California right now. So.
Yeah, I know.
But Kauane, I want to ask you too, you know, what can the fans expect from you whenever you take the mats?
Porrada. There's no plan, only porrada. I said about the rules, so those rules are what make me really excited, because what you said, it's true. 15 minutes, you cannot go that much, but at the same time, you need to know how to push yourself, and porrada is what you can expect from it for tomorrow, guys.
All right, there you have it. I think we're gonna see a lot of porrada in this one. I'm excited to watch. Up next, we're gonna talk to Declan Moody and Fellipe Andrew. Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, up now we have Fellipe Andrew and Declan Moody. I think this is potentially one of the best matches on the card. You know, a clash of styles, a super exciting match, if you ask me. So I'm excited to watch this one tomorrow. I'll kick it off with you, Fellipe. You're making your Who's Number One debut in this one. How did it feel to get the call, and what do you think about competing on Who's Number One?
I think it's gonna be very fun. That's my debut. The Who's Number One. Especially because it's no gi, you know, so it's another scenario for me. My last competition, like no gi, was like the CGI. That's why it's very interesting fight, because he's in the CGI too, you know. So I think it's gonna be a nice fight tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. So you kind of mentioned this one obviously being no gi. We've seen a lot of you in the gi over the years, but now you've transitioned a little bit. You did CJI, and now this is, as far as I know, right, your first super fight no gi. What is it that's kind of made you want to start doing more of these no gi shows?
Man, I think all the world is looking for no gi right now, right? So I think that's the next step to develop my game in jiu-jitsu, in the whole martial art, you know. So that's why I'm trying to improve, like in the another scenarios on my life, you know. So I think this is gonna be a nice start, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And so now, Declan, I want to ask you, this is your third match on Who's Number One, and also your third Fellipe you fought on Who's Number One. What's going on with that, man? Are you requesting Felipe's or something at this point?
I don't know how this has happened, but they just keep giving me Felipe's. I'm going to try and keep it in the positive, the record, but we'll see.
Overall, what were your thoughts whenever you got the call and they offered you Fellipe Andrew on Who's Number One?
I'm always excited to get the call from Who's Number One, you know, and Fellipe is an incredible athlete, you know. His run at CGI was amazing. He showed he's not just a gi competitor, but just one of the best grappling athletes in the world. And these are the matches I'm looking for. I want to test myself against the best.
So Fellipe obviously has one of the best guards in jiu-jitsu, but also one of the most dangerous guards. You're one of the best guard passers. I'm curious, how do you think your passing is going to do up against Felipe's guard?
I'm excited to test it. You know, these are the guards that I want to test it. I want to test my passing against the best guys, the most dangerous guys. I think I am capable of passing any guard in the world, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and Fellipe, I guess I want to ask you too, you know, because you are a very complete grappler, but you have a very good guard. You think this is going to be a thing where we're going to see you play guard and go up against Declan's passing, or do you have other plans for the match?
Man, I think I'm gonna let the fight happen. You know, I have no plan for the fight. Usually, I don't like to study my opponents because if sometimes you create some strategy and something happens in the fight and it's gonna be a surprise. So I think just let's develop the game over there, and if I need to take down, I'm gonna try to take downs. If I have to pass, I'm gonna go, and for sure, if I have to play guard, I'm gonna attack him.
Certainly. What can the fans expect from you tomorrow during this match?
And the same jiu-jitsu that I'm fighting my whole life, like jiu-jitsu to finish, aggressive jiu-jitsu, and I want to put a show for everyone who's watching.
Awesome. Declan, same question. What can the fans expect from you?
Yeah, they're going to expect me moving forward, just trying to push and try and get a submission, and just trying to put on the best performance that I can and show my jiu-jitsu is up there with some of the best in the world.
All right, awesome. Well, there you have it. Up next, we're going to talk to Kyle Chambers and Victor Silverio. All right, up now we have Kyle Chambers and Victor Silverio. So this will be our last interview for this press conference, but this is going to be actually the first match of the main card whenever WNO 28 goes down on June 13th, like I said before. And so I want to start it off just by asking both of you. I'll start with Kyle. You know, what does it mean to kind of kick off the main card? Is that like, you know, you want to bring a little bit extra of a show, set the tone? You know, what is it like kind of kicking off the card?
Like kicking off the card, you have to start off special. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to just have a boring fight or anything in the beginning. So, you know, everybody already knows how my style is. If we were winning by submission. It's not judge's decision or anything like that. So I feel like my style by itself kind of brings that kind of excitement, you know, and it's the same thing I plan on doing tomorrow, you know, coming in, getting to my game and getting into my offense, you know, and that's all what I do, you know, and that's nothing that's going to change for tomorrow.
Yeah, so same thing for you, Victor. You know, does it add a little pressure or anything whenever you're kind of kicking off the main card, wanting to set the tone for the event?
Actually, I'm happy that Ricardo said that the rules change for the kids' fights and our fight, no leg locks, right?
Oh, a special rules match.
No, I think it's gonna be good. Like we have good styles to go against each other. I like playing on top. Of course, I know how to play guard. He knows how to play top too, but I feel like we're just gonna go right at it.
Definitely. Whenever you got the call and they said they offered you the match against Kyle, you know, what did you think right away about how this match would play out with Kyle?
I think Kyle's been competing a lot. I've been seeing him like doing like some other super fights. He's being very active. I think it's a good fight. Like I feel like a lot of times I want to show more my style. I feel like I can't do that with him because I think the games kind of complement each other. So I was excited.
And same for you, Kyle. What did you think about a match with Victor?
I was super excited. I feel like I do best when somebody's actually going to try to attack me. It's like we have that term like anti-jiu-jitsu. It's not saying that you're not doing jiu-jitsu, but is it like the judges say they know when you're actually trying to move forward? And I feel like he's going to move forward, which is very beneficial. I feel like it's very exciting. You know, it's going to create a lot of good scrambles, which I feel like the people want is scrambles and finishes, you know, and I feel like in this match there's a lot of high potential for both of those things.
Yeah, so another thing I want to talk about is this match is at welterweight, so 170 pounds. You guys are similar sizes, obviously, because you made the weight, but very different builds, you know? Like, and I still am kind of shocked whenever you can make 170, to be honest. But I'm wondering if you think, like, is that going to play in? You guys have kind of different styles. They clash a little, but also different builds and everything. How does that impact a match like this?
I feel like with our body types, even though we're similar weights, me being so lanky offers different things for him, as well as him being a little bit more shorter, stockier, really more more muscular, offers different kind of situations for me. So I have to be more careful in certain situations that I otherwise wouldn't have to think about because of the body type, you know? Same thing when I go against Gio's. Like, Gio's really good, and I have to make sure I have certain type of frames and certain type of things because it's a lot harder when those type of body types get in certain positions versus somebody that's more lanky like me, you know? So coming into this match, I already understand that. It's almost like going against somebody that's 30 pounds, 40 pounds heavier than you in the absolute tournament. You're like, okay, I probably can't give up a side control because it's going to be a lot different look, you know? So the same thing, it makes me more aware in a lot of my positions, but it's also really exciting because I don't know fully what they expect and what he's going to bring to the table.
Yeah, what do you think, Victor? Does the body type difference, the style difference, does it make much a difference in the match?
I think it does. Like, I feel like I'm used to go against guys that are like tall like him. Like, I was on the face-off, I had to like fucking look it all the way up. But I think it's kind of, I like it like when it's like a different size. I think it brings more like how you say, like I'm more like kind of like pressure kind of style. Like, he's gonna be like make it harder for me because the legs are so long. So it's like the frames are different too. So I think it's good. I think it's a good matchup.
So in your Who's Number One debut, we saw you come out and get the finish. You know, what's your expectation? What's the plan for this match?
I want to finish. Like, that's I came here to try to finish my fight. I'm gonna work for it. I know he's in my opinion, better opponent than my last opponent. He's gonna make a more competitive fight for sure. But I'm ready for that. Like, I feel like I'm if I can actually implement my game and be in the zone, I feel like I can do good.
Nice. Same for you, Kyle. What's kind of your expectation for this match?
Same thing. I know this is not going to be given to me. You know, I know he's not going to just lay on his back and just give me the W. So I have to come with my best abilities, my best weapons, my best, swords, to come with the best version of myself. I feel like a lot of times we have better versions of ourselves in practice. You're trying to always try to get that version of yourself when it really, truly matters, which is in here, and show the world that too. So that's what my game plan is, trying to unlock that variation of myself so I can show the world and get to all my things and do the best of my abilities.
All right, there you guys have it. I hope everyone at home enjoyed that. Like I said before, it's all going down Friday, June 13th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. The undercard is going to be free on the Flow Grappling YouTube channel, and then the main card will be on flowgrappling.com. So make sure you go subscribe now, and we'll see you guys at Who's Number One 28.